Let's talk about dark chocolate. For years, right, we've been told it's the healthy treat, but lately, you might have seen some pretty scary headlines. So what is the real story here?
Is this delicious treat a superfood, or could it actually be hiding something harmful, especially when it comes to your kids? That's the big question we're going to break down right now.
You see a picture like this and you think about all the good stuff, antioxidants, minerals, all of that. But then reports about heavy metals started flying around and honestly, it created a lot of confusion.
So where did all this worry even start? It really boils down to one big report that got everyone talking.
Okay, so back in late 2022, Consumer Reports dropped this bombshell report. They tested a bunch of popular chocolate bars and found what they said were concerning levels of two heavy metals, lead and cadmium. And, when you hear words like toxic, of course people are going to get worried, especially parents. But that's not the end of the story. Whenever there's a scare like this, science usually steps in to take a closer look. And a big new study in 2024 gave us some much-needed answers. Let's see what they found out.
So, researchers at Tulane University went big. They didn't just test a few bars. They analyzed 155 popular chocolates sold right here in the U.S. And they weren't just looking for lead and cadmium. They checked for a whole list of 16 different heavy metals.
And here it is. This is the main takeaway, and it comes straight from the lead author of the study. After all that testing, their conclusion was, it's pretty much safe. So, let's get into the details of what that really means.
So what does safe actually mean here? It's not that there are zero heavy metals, but it's all about putting the amounts into perspective and understanding the actual risk.
First, just look at that number, 155 different chocolate bars. This wasn't some small niche study. This gives us a really solid picture of what's actually on the shelves in our grocery stores. Now, this is the number that parents are going to want to hear. Out of all 155 bars they tested, only 4 had cadmium levels that could potentially be a concern. And even then, it was only a risk for a small child, about 33 pounds, who was eating more than 2 whole chocolate bars every single week. For the vast majority of kids, that's a lot of chocolate and pretty unlikely.
And what about for adults? The news here was even better. The researchers found no negative health risks from eating about 1 ounce of dark chocolate every day. And that's a pretty standard serving size, a few squares from your favorite bar.
Okay, so the heavy metal risk seems pretty minimal for most of us. So what else should we be thinking about? Because dark chocolate is a pretty complex food. It's really about weighing the good against the, well, not so good.
This really lays it all out. On the plus side, you're getting some great stuff. Fiber, iron, magnesium, and a ton of those powerful antioxidants. But on the other side of the coin, we have to remember it's high in calories and saturated fat. It's got caffeine, which can affect sleep, and it has these things called oxalates, which for some people can increase the risk of kidney stones. So where do all those amazing benefits actually come from? Well, it all boils down to one magic word: flavonols. These are the awesome antioxidants in cocoa that get all the attention. They're the compounds that are linked to things like better heart health. Okay, so the risk is low, the benefits are real, and it's all about balance. How do you actually use this information when you're standing in the candy aisle? Let's make a little action plan. It's actually pretty simple. 3 easy steps. First, try to pick a bar that's 70% cocoa or higher. That's where you get the most flavonols and usually less sugar. Second, just glance at the ingredients. Cocoa should be the very first thing you see, and really, the shorter the list, the better. And third, and this is the big one, moderation is everything. About 1 ounce is a perfect serving.
Now, what to avoid is just as important as what to look for. Keep an eye out for terms like Dutch processed or processed with alkali. This process makes the chocolate less bitter, but it can actually destroy a huge amount of those healthy flavonols. Kind of defeats the purpose, right? And, of course, try to avoid bars that are just packed with extra sugar.
So, after all that, what's the final call? Maybe the best way to look at dark chocolate isn't really as a health food you have to eat, but more like a smart indulgence. When you pick a good quality bar and enjoy it in moderation, you can definitely satisfy that sweet tooth while getting some real benefits, without all the worry. Turns out, you can have your chocolate and eat it too.